Welcome to our February episode of Silver Linings Talk Show. We are thrilled to have with us Jacqueline Kane, a master healer and low back pain specialist. Welcome to our show, Jackie. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Thank you so much for having me. So I love helping people get to the root cause of their physical, emotional, and financial pain so that they can finally release the limiting beliefs that aren't working for them, activate their inner ability to create the life they love, and then thrive as they are able to magnetically attract it.
Nice. Wow, that sounds a lot deeper than just a little bit of a master healer.
And just a little bit of pain.
Yeah, right?
It changes everything, right?
Awesome.
It does. Yeah. And we are excited to have Diane also joining us from North Carolina.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Diane.
So we just did our quick intro of our guest, and we're ready
to jump into
our conversation.
Okay, so I would like to know more about the fact that pain is not always physical, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Of course. So many of us have physical pain and we go to the doctors for that, right? Mm-hmm. Some of us end up with surgeries, injections, taking medication. But how many of us actually get out of pain from all that? So as I was an x-ray tech in the beginning, so I learned a lot about how our healthcare system treats patients and takes care of problems and pain, and then became a massage therapist, so constantly learned a lot about the body, the muscles, how it works. And many clients were coming in with physical pain, and some got out of pain, but some, it was still lasting. It wasn't until I learned about the emotions underneath the pain and realized that every physical pain and illness has an emotional component. And the way out of physical pain is understanding the emotions underneath it. Mm-hmm. Because we all should be healthier, right? If we're taking on the medication and we're seeing the doctors, why are we not healthier?
Absolutely.
Right, and as you said, like, here we are taking the meds, getting the surgeries or the massages, but why?
It's still holding on.
And what's the root cause of that?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So where could some of those thoughts and beliefs come from that someone's kind of holding on to and it's creating pain somewhere in their body?
Yeah, so the first thing is understanding, if we ask the question, how do you feel about the pain? That kind of opens up the door of, what are your beliefs about that, your pain? Do you believe that you have to the older you get, you're going to be in pain? Or that it takes a long time to heal? Where did these beliefs come from? And what I have found is that a lot of times they come from our ancestors, they come from the people who raised us. It's generational beliefs and patterns that have been passed down. So once we start diving into what's underneath the pain, how do you feel about it, then it just opens up to all these conversations and thoughts and discovery of what's really underneath the pain.
Do you think that some of that too is like societal and just the systems that we have in place, that people just accept it?
Yeah.
Because just like you were saying, it's like just plugging into the fact that, oh, well, I have that too. I'm taking, X number of Tylenols per day, or I'm on this medicine. Oh, I think I need to be on this medicine, much as, that may not be the right thing. It just seems to just kind of link itself on as like a chain reaction.
Yeah, and it's kind of like we're being conditioned to believe it, right? So when we talk about these things, that we say, oh, heart problems come in my family, that's just the way it is, right? Low back pain, everybody in my family has it, so there's nothing I can do about it. You're manifesting more of that, you're conditioning yourself to believe that that's true, and it can take a longer time to release that. And as society, we hear often, oh, I had hip surgery, it's going to take a long time to heal.
Yeah, and that can hold us back.
Right.
So you've kind of touched on the ancestral part, and that's the part we want to kind of delve a little bit more into. Can you tell us a little bit more about ancestral energy?
Yeah.
Maybe where it's rooted in, and maybe how far back that goes?
And what it means.
Yeah.
It's so big. So ancestral energy is the unresolved emotional issues of our ancestors, and it can impact every area of your life. So we're all conceived in our mother's womb, right? So if your mother was blessed to have a lovely pregnancy, she felt good every day, right? And you were raised and formed, your DNA was formed in that environment. Wow, what a wonderful experience, right? Unfortunately, that's not really true for so many of us, right? Because we're so much more to that. And in those 9 months of you being created, there's things that happen to your mom. And that stress goes into creating your DNA. So either you're being created in an environment of success and happiness and joy, or it's being created in an environment of stress and hardship and difficulty and, you know, big or little traumas, whatever she's experienced. Not only that, but what has been passed down from her generations before. So it's a lot that we carry energetically from those that came before us.
I think one way that I can kind of think about that is when we hear about maybe generational abuse, right? And maybe like, oh, one parent was abusive, and then that parent maybe wasn't abusive the same way or to the same degree, but was abusive in another way, and that continues until someone really recognizes it and wants to make a change to stop the generational abuse.
The pattern, yeah.
To stop the pattern, yes.
And I have found that each generation, if it's not healed and somebody says enough of that, it kind of snowballs. It becomes this big snowball coming down the mountain where each generation gets worse and worse and their issues become bigger.
It's kind of sounds like it's hard to break the cycle if you have this big snowball rolling down the hill. It's like, who's going to jump in front of that, right?
It can be, but there are absolutely processes that make it easier, right? There's things out there that people are doing to heal and are actually reversing it,
And
right?
we'll talk a little bit about that later.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
I know. So I know we have.
There's 4 areas in our life, from what I understand, that energy can affect, and we're gonna. Do you have a video that we're gonna watch right now?
We have a couple slides to show which areas. Okay. So this energy can impact your health, your wealth, your relationships, and your personal power.
Yep. So we're going to start with the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is your health.
And this is your wealth, your relationships. Did we want to talk about those individually?
We are, because Jacqueline was so great to also just bring like individual pictures that we can kind of dive into these areas a little bit more with the photos. So let's kind of start with the first one.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so your health can be impacted by your beliefs, right? Like I said before, our family has heart issues, that's just the way it is. Nothing works to get rid of the pain. How often do we hear that, right? I've always had lower back pain. My back will never be the same after that accident, right? I mean, there's people in our lives who say that.
Yes.
And yes, physically that can be true, but I'm letting you know there's ways to clear that. And then with your wealth, some of these beliefs, the economy is bad, so it's hard to get ahead. I have to work 24/7 to make ends meet. I can't make more money in my job because there's a cap. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
And then in relationships, I have to do everything myself. No one supports me. I hear this from so many women, right? Because we have so much to do.
That is, in fact, true.
And then your own personal power. I have to help them. I can't say no. I'm not good enough. All the things we were taught as young girls to not be selfish, to put everybody else's needs first. All these things get passed down, and then we take them on like it's really true. And we live our lives that way, which end up causing pain in the body.
So it's definitely important to pay attention to the messaging, pay attention to what we're being told.
And deciding if we want to break the cycle.
Yeah.
And if we're being told is true.
Right, that is true
Yeah.
too, because it is about fact or fiction, and we can certainly change the narrative when we're talking about these different things. Now, some of them, especially when it comes to health, can be related to DNA and epigenetics and beliefs on those. How can these affect pain, and what can you do about them? I know that you have a story to tell us about maybe somebody overcoming this, and it's really not necessarily about you're stuck just because my mom had it, my grandmother had it, so I'm going to get it, and that's just the way it is. Epigenetics proves to us that that's not the case. Can you share with us a little example of that?
Yeah, so many of my clients have come to me and they've had years of physical pain. One of my clients, Joyce, came to me. She has had 9 surgeries. She was in pain for 50 years. I mean, she had low back pain, shoulder surgery, even after all these surgeries, which we hope after each one that we're getting out of pain, but it just exasperated it and led to more surgeries. So it wasn't until we started working when she talked about the resentment that she was carrying for years. She was a farmer. She lost her husband when he was young. So she had a lot on her plate. She had a lot to do. And she had young children to take care of. So she couldn't deal with her emotions of her husband leaving when her kids were like teenagers. She had to just get to work, and she had to suppress all that. As we started suppressing and releasing all of that suppressed resentment, her pain started to go away. And she was one of the first clients that really helped me understand that it's the emotional energies in our bodies that we need to heal that will release the physical pain.
So that was almost not just the physical, that was related to relationships and her personal power. So they were like interconnected.
It's all connected,
Yes.
right?
And so I love that. And I had a personal story about that too, that happened to me, and I know you really helped me understand it, and I think you helped me get over it just in my mind, where I had lost my father, and then right before his funeral services, I was overcome by intense lower back pain, but it was debilitating. It was, it just went from 0 to 10 in a matter of an hour, and it was on the paternal side of my back. Right. And when I communicated with you, you basically gave me that information, and I think it helped me understand that maybe it was the loss of my father that was creating, or
shock to the system.
Yeah, basically.
That your support.
Yeah.
So Louise Hayes has a book, You Can Heal Your Life, and it explains every ailment and emotional component. Low back pain is all about support.
Yeah.
So you lost a supportive figure in your life, which was a shock to your system. So your body was reacting to that physical loss.
And it came on so suddenly because I was probably fighting against it, just going, I'm going to be strong for my mom, and I'm just going to do the things, and then it just hit me. And just the speaking to someone like yourself who kind of understood that this didn't necessarily relate to something physical because nothing happened to me.
Right.
It wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't a physical ailment. I hadn't done anything to myself.
Yeah.
So it really helped me overcome it too, because when you can accept that it might be emotional or psychological,
else, yeah.
I think it can really help just your thought process and that pain.
And moving forward from
Yeah.
that. Yeah, your body was really reacting to the energy of that loss. And it wanted you to get in touch with that part of you instead of putting everybody first, like most women do, right? It was like, no, I want you to address your loss and your grief. Yeah.
And it worked. So that's my testimonial.
Yeah. And I love one comment that you had made previously when we were chatting, is that pain is not your destiny.
It's not.
Even if it's, you know, within a family, you know, genetics, that pain is not your destiny. So that kind of goes into, previously you had mentioned that there were things that you could do. So we wanted to kind of have you talk about what are some helpful techniques that someone could learn more about, start to bring in for themselves when they are experiencing pain.
Yeah, first thing is awareness, right? So most of the times pain just shows up, right? You didn't work out, you didn't run a marathon, you have this pain, right? Start asking, well, how am I feeling? Did I have a conversation with somebody recently where I have to do something and I really want to say no, but I didn't? Start asking yourself some questions. When did it start? What happened? How do I really feel about this pain?
Great journal.
And then
Great
that
journal
brings to
questions.
journaling, right? Yeah, just start journaling.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's a great way to move energy because physical pain and the energy, it's emotional energy, right? So one way to move it out of your body is to journal. I'm really frustrated with this pain. I've had it so long. I'm seeing everybody. Nope, nothing's working. Just get paper and pen and just start writing. Sometimes you'll be so amazed what comes out in that journaling, right?
And the beautiful thing is what comes out has been ready to be released.
Yeah.
And I love that piece about when you're journaling or writing out things that you would like to release. What comes up is because it's ready.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're ready for the next level.
Yeah.
I love that you say journaling because I'm so bad at that, but I do type things in the notes on my phone. That's a form of journaling. And sometimes I'll go back and go, I didn't know I felt that way. And I'll be like, okay, I got that out and I do feel better. So thank you for confirming that for me.
And I think that just highlights just a little note is that a lot of youth, that is how they journal, is on their phone.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
So it doesn't have to be just pen and paper. It can also be just typing away on your phone.
To yourself.
To yourself.
Preferably first.
Yes. So we have journaling and first awareness, then journaling. What's another technique?
Another one I love is tapping, emotional freedom technique, or EFT or tapping. Very powerful mind-body connection to release and shift the energy very quickly, and most importantly, relax the nervous system.
Can you show us a little short example of how to go about that?
Yeah. So, and I'd even like, if it's okay, we can do a little process.
Yeah.
So, for those watching and any of us here, if you have any physical pain in your body, just tune into it. And if you focus on that physical pain, if you start to ask yourself, who else in my family had that physical pain? And just become aware of that knowledge. And thank them for sharing. And then we can do some tapping around. Maybe we're a little tired today, right? Maybe we're a little sluggish. So the way tapping works is you tap on your physical body and we say words at the same time. So sometimes I even use my intuition, so whatever comes through, comes through. The tapping points are the top of the head, And you can do one side, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Inside of the eye, outside of the eye, under the eye, under the nose. This is where you want one finger because that's where the acupressure point is. In the indentation under the lip, again, that's where the point is. And then collarbone. There's many more points, but these are just the fastest. So we're just going to go right through it, and you'll repeat after me.
Okay.
Okay? All this pain in my body,
All this pain in my body,
all this exhaustion.
all this exhaustion,
I've had it for quite a while,
I've had it for quite a while,
and I'm tired of it.
and I'm
and I'm tired of it.
I do all these things.
I do
I do all these things.
Some days it's still there.
Some days it's still there.
And I am ready in this moment
and I am ready in this moment
to honor this pain in my body,
to honor this
Pain in my body,
to have compassion for myself,
to have compassion for myself,
for all I've been through.
for all I've been through.
And I'm ready right now
And I'm ready right now
to release all this pain
to release all this pain
and all this exhaustion
and all of this exhaustion
from every cell of my being.
from every cell
Every
of my
cell
being.
of my being.
And all of that starts right now.
And
all
all of that
starts
starts
All of
right
that
now.
starts right now.
Neat.
I'm tingling.
Yeah, we've
Literally.
opened up the channels, the energetic channels. So.
And the pain in my foot is tingling. Just saying, just saying. Got to give it a
Sometimes
try.
it can just be a quick little thing
Yeah.
to shift your energy and release the pain.
I like that.
Actually, I feel like a little bit of openness and lightness.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think that's where my
Yeah.
tingling is coming from.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Diane, what do you feel?
Yes, I feel all tingly.
Yes, tingling. Yes, for sure.
I love
I feel
that we went through
energized.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we all
It's really
benefited
good.
from that. We're going to remember, and I'm sure we can use words that maybe are applicable but similar to what you're.
Yeah, so the EFT works all the time. It works even faster when it resonates with you. So it has to resonate with how you're feeling. So that's why we go in the negative first to the positive. Because if I just started tapping, I'm good, I'm great, you'd be like, that's not true.
So I'm glad you pointed that out, that we go from the negative to the positive. Okay.
It's all about how you're feeling in the moment.
Okay.
We don't want to brush over the grief, the sorrow, all those emotions that, you know, so many people say, get over it, move on, but you have to deal with it, right?
Right.
You have to address it.
That sounds
Otherwise,
like
you're
a-
continually suppressing it, which leads to physical pain.
That sounds like ancestral energy. Get over it, move on.
Yes, right? Yeah.
Right. Back in my day. Right?
I
Right.
walked 2 miles to school
Uphill both ways.
in the snowstorm.
In the snow.
That's
Yes.
right.
For sure, I know, right? So what we just reviewed is, and you must have touched on a lot of that in the book
In
that
the
you
book,
have.
yes, the Energy Medicine Solution book. So,
Do you want to hold that up so we could just quickly see it?
yeah.
Nice.
So it took a lot of time and effort, and a part of me didn't want to do it because I knew how much time it would take. But I wanted to educate people on energy and how it's impacting our health. And I gathered 24 other healers, so each one of us have a chapter in the book. So this is kind of like a resource at home where you can open it up and have 25 different energetic tools to help you get out of pain.
Excellent. And can I say, was this your creation? Was this like you were the driving force of this book?
So I must have interviewed like 100 people, and we dwindled it down to the 24 for the
And
book.
can I just say,
I think
we had one of your authors
yes.
on our show,
We did.
Mr. Ed
Cleveland.
Cleveland,
Yes.
with his sound healing.
Yeah, he's in there.
He's fabulous too.
So there are different modalities
Yes.
of
Yes.
energy healing that
I love that.
basically each person is
Yeah. Some
kind
of
an
our
expert on.
some of the things each of us do overlaps.
Sure.
But we all talked about one specific tool in the book. Yeah.
I love
Awesome.
that. I'm not sure that I have that, but I think I might like to have that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we've created some retreats
Yeah.
around it to help everybody. Like, I didn't want this to just sit on a shelf. I wanted to bring it to
Yeah.
life. So we have a
Absolutely.
virtual treat coming up. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Well, we'll definitely have to put that in some of our social media posts when this episode is coming out so that people can know about it should they like to.
Yes.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, any final thoughts? How can someone reach out to you?
So you can find me at my website, JacquelineMKane.com. I'm on all social platforms. You can call me 860-307-0232 to connect. And just know that miracles happen all the time. You just have to decide that you're ready for that miracle.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love that so much. And I really appreciated the tapping example because
Yes.
I have tried it before, but for some reason, I think you just need to be open and ready
Yeah.
to experience it, right?
And I think it's helpful to have a guide.
Yeah.
Oh,
Always
Yeah.
helpful to have
Always
a guide.
helpful to have a guide.
Yeah.
And I liked how you did it out loud. I've done the tapping before, but I've talked to myself in my head. I feel like because we all said it out loud, it worked better.
Yeah. Verbalizing it shifts the energy, right? Yeah. So that combination works really well together.
and do you recommend using similar verbiage that resonates with you and keeping it similar, or do you recommend changing it up?
So it really depends on if I'm working with somebody who's in physical pain, like there's a process.
Okay.
Right? I've created a system you have to do the ancestral clearing, then heal some traumas. So there's a real system.
Sure.
But if just day to day, really start out, how do you feel when you wake up?
Okay.
If you're a little drained, if you're a little, don't really want to get moving, then those are the words you use.
So you use whatever is applicable to how you're feeling in the moment.
Yeah, and you don't even have to say anything. But the more you tap, it'll relax your nervous system so that there's less chaos, there's less drama. Your day flows with more ease, flow, and abundance.
Well, we are so happy and thankful that you joined us on the show. And Diane, can you kind of wrap us up for today?
Well, I had something in mind and it fits perfect with what we just went through. I just wanted to share that sometimes when things are falling apart in our life, they're actually falling into place. And I wanted to remind everybody that you always can look for the silver lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. And if we look for the silver lining, we'll see it. I can go through all of my experiences in life and I see the silver lining. So I hope you do too.